Hello and welcome to a new segment on Let's Talk About Football from last weekend. I'm delighted to say that we have Daniel here, Daniel Boddington from Lionade, who's here to talk about the best dressed football managers in the Premier League, the best haircuts, and more importantly, who would drink Lionade out of all the managers in the Premier League. Daniel, great to have you on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. I hate to do this so early on, but it's actually Daniel Boddington.
Daniel Boddington. What did I say?
You said something else, I think, and it's kind of respectful to get that right.
Yeah, Paul. Could someone turn that beep off?
What beep?
There's a beep that keeps going off, and I'm not sure what it is, and it's kind of distracting me.
I think. Well, this is a short segment. Do you think we maybe should just be getting on with the show?
Okay. Right. So Daniel Boddington.
Daniel, please.
Daniel Boddington. Daniel, do you listen to the show?
Yeah.
Great. It's always good to meet a listener, and just want to say thank you off the bat for sponsoring the pod. Without you, we would still have a podcast, but it wouldn't be sponsored by Lionade.
Yeah, and I think that's a big deal for a show like this to have a sponsorship, because without that, what do you really believe in? What change are you trying to push into the world? Lionade's out there because what we want, and you like this, it's funny, is we want people to take pride in themselves. You get it like a lion.
That's good.
And that's our impact on the community. Whereas without us, you would just be talking, really.
Right. What about so I've been having a lot of the Lionade, and I'll be honest, and I'm having issues sleeping. I did run a PB, which is one positive. I've been writing down the positives of having the Lionade and the negatives.
Always has a real high impact on sport and performance. That's for sure. That's the Lion Pride and Lionade guarantee.
Okay.
Excuse you.
Okay. So, best dressed football manager in the Premier League. Where's that beep?
No, sorry. The beep. Something needs to be done there. But I think it would go... I think I'd not be doing my job properly if I didn't mention... It sounded a bit like you were making an insinuation when you came to the sleep thing a moment ago. And I just want to address that before anything really comes out of it.
Well,
if you're gonna make accusations, you have to have a basis to come from. I don't know what your sleep was like before. The Lionade product has had those accusations have been found baseless repeatedly. So just be careful of spreading what a lot of people would call fake news.
It's anecdotal evidence, and I'll tell you a little bit about my sleep journey. I hadn't slept for 3 days recently, and now I've got to go to bed with listening to analysis from Joe Hart, and that's the only thing that actually gets me off. There's that fucking beep.
What I will say, quite a well-dressed individual.
Joe Hart, or
well, the beep isn't an individual, so yeah, Joe Hart. Unless you were thinking I was complimenting yourself, and your attire is reasonable, presentable. But I think for a list such as best dressed managers, I realise Joe Hart, of course, isn't a manager. Seems to be going more down the road of media engagement. I don't really see Joe Hart as being a future manager.
But if he was, you'd think he would be the best dressed.
Not the best dressed. I didn't say that, but I think he would be in the top half of a list if it was big enough.
Okay, what about the chap from Bournemouth?
Areola?
No, that's the West Ham.
You know, that's always struck me as a bit funny, that name.
Areola. Well, what about the West Ham goalkeeper, the Areola, the...
Yeah.
Good, well-dressed?
I would say that I've seen him dressed on the pitch and I haven't seen. So unlike Joe Hart, he hasn't really put himself in front of the media. So
Yet.
That's true. He's still an active professional.
Yeah.
But I think for various reasons, possibly his name, I can't really see him getting involved in wider media appearances, lest people laugh, for the reasons I mentioned earlier. So to answer your question, yeah, I think he wears his goalkeeper kit very well.
What about Eddie Howe? Do you think Eddie Howe would drink Lionade?
Eddie who?
Eddie Howe.
What did you think of that?
What do I think of it?
Never mind. I would say that, yeah, I see him as a clean-cut guy. Have you ever seen Eddie Howe with a beard? Do you think Eddie Howe could even grow a beard? I don't mean that disrespectfully. Can we cut? Never mind. Yeah, I would say that it's not just the way that he dresses, but the way that he holds himself as well.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with that. And I've actually seen him drinking some it wasn't me personally who saw him. A friend of mine said that he saw him chugging down some Lionade in the just before the gym.
Wow, it just speaks to the levels that this individual operates at. And I have a follow-up question. Eddie, where?
Okay, so it's been a real pleasure to have you on, Daniel. Daniel,
please.
Thanks for coming on. Yeah, I mean, keep on keeping on, as they say. That's the fucking beep.
It's okay. It's okay. Move on. We're wrapping up. Hopefully.
I don't know, because Ryan's been doing the editing on this, and I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that beep out, and it's just going to be confusing for the audience.
I think let's not worry about this. I'm here to do a job. I've spoken about Eddie Howe now, the Areola person, Joe Hart. Yeah, future best dressed manager in the Premier League.
Okay,
I've said it now. There you go.
We've got a top three. So you're saying Joe Hart, Areola.
Well, no, I'm not including Areola in my list. He's not a manager. And same for Joe Hart.
Let's wrap this up. Top three.
Guardiola. Eddie Howe.
Going through a divorce, Guardiola.
Yeah, and I think you can see the impact that's had on his dress sense of late.
Yeah.
And just his general. You know, we spoke about Eddie Howe knowing how to hold himself, present himself. Seems calm, in control. Does Guardiola strike that for you? And I think that's reflected in his dress sense.
So, Guardiola.
But he's in third now.
He's in third. Eddie Howe's in second.
Yep. And I think because this segment has a lot of promise for me, I'd almost like to save that first spot for another occasion.
Okay, so just to recap, we don't have a number one. Eddie Howe.
Well, we do, but we're not sharing it yet. That's sort of a...
You say
teaser.
we, you mean you.
Well, we as in Lionade. I'm speaking on behalf of your sponsors, actually.
Okay, so undetermined number one.
It's determined. I've got it written down in front of me, but it's not for today.
Okay, secret.
That'll do.
Fuck off.
Me?
No, the beep. Right.
It's determined. I'm not sharing it.
A secret determined football manager, Eddie Howe and Joseph Guardiola.
Oh, you know who else is quite well dressed?
Who?
But he's not in the Premier League.
Okay.
Luis Enrique.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe for another list, another time. But this was Premier League list, remember? So that's why I didn't bring them into it.
No, but you know they did play in Liverpool the other day, which is based in the Premier League. So
yeah, Liverpool are one of the, would you say, top Premier League teams currently?
No.
Fair enough.
And yeah, I guess we end on who you think is most likely to drink Lionade.
Well, our answer here at Lionade is, of course, the more the merrier. And I think we already know that Eddie Howe, is a big fan. So I'm going to say Eddie Howe.
Okay, great. Well, that was the Lionade segment. I'll come up with a name for it post edit.
Should you leave a gap, and then it can be edited in?
No, because I've got lots of stuff to do today.
Okay, so it's not going to get edited in then.
No,
We'll just make up a name. Best dressed managers.
Best dressed managers. Okay, BDM.
I like that.
So that was BDM with Lionade. Thanks.
That sounds like a radio station.
Thanks for coming on and talking with me about football managers. Okay, I think like next time that you come on the show, I'll do the jokes.
It stood out to me that there weren't any.
Well, it is my fault.
And what's your sponsor?
Control.
Control.